Breaking news, everyone. Next anime to be banned is gonna be School DxD because it has the term high school in it. Assassination Classroom banned in USA. So I wanna come in here talk about is anime, making children violent, and I would try to do it from a scientific standpoint. I have actually studied both, speaking, violence or whatever, right, in fiction, and also with children, right. So interested, please subscribe, hit the like button, and let's get it. So what's happening is that Assassination Classroom has started getting banned in schools in America. It reminds me how of course, Dragon Maid got banned, right? Mostly because of Ilulu. But I have Makana in my hand, Makana-chan in my hand, right? Yes, Dragon Maid, which again, mostly because of Ilulu, has also been banned at schools in America, right? So it's kind of similar here, Classroom. But I want to immediately address here, right, from again a scientific standpoint, and talk about how you don't get violent from anime, right? You don't. Neither from video game, neither from mangas, whatever, it doesn't matter. Fictional work doesn't make children or grown-ups violent. There's been a massive amount of studies on this thing. There's been so many studies on this thing. I read most of the big ones, most of the upper ones, right? I have, as I mentioned, I myself have studied this thing. With, of course, video games rather than anime, more so. But the video games are more immersive, right? And if you don't get violent by video games, you're not gonna get violent by anime. It doesn't make any sense. And for that matter, just point out here, right? For that matter, right? I always dislike, Anita Kishu, right? Because the whole thing with her is exactly the same that Jack Thompson was talking about. He was like, oh, you become violent by video games, and everyone's against him, right? Most people in politics, especially the left politics. Then Anita goes out 10 years later, is like, you get sexist by video games and anime and so on. Doesn't make any sense. It's equally not as factually, it is equally as crazy as Thompson. They're basically the same person, right? So it's really, really annoying how, of course, the politically, I guess, landscape, right, treats Anita as like a hero. Jake Thompson was like hated by most people in social media and so on. It is kind of weird. But I guess it's back to the whole Ilulu thing. But first of all, let me then explain why you don't get violent by animes, right? So you might have heard about James Michael Taylor. He's played Gunter in Friends. So there's this interview with him and he explains that he was attacked by a lady in real life, right? Because she was angry at him for breaking up Rachel and Ross. You know what I mean? So yes, to be fair, some people actually do think that TV shows, anime, and game is real. But if you get violent by watching Friends, that's the one thing, right? But think that these people are like 1 in a million, and they think it's real, okay? There's no actual evidence that even these people that think that anime is real actually will become like the anime, because, again, they think it's real. So maybe one person in the whole universe believes that this anime, the Classroom, is real, but does that make that person become violent? No, they're probably afraid because they think that this alien guy is gonna destroy the planet. So, seriously, less than 1% of humans do get like violent, right? By anime, gaming, and so on, right? It's like 1 in a million, okay? And that person, again, then, doesn't necessarily become violent. They think that it's actually happening. You know what I mean? They watch an anime or they play a video game and they actually believe that that is real. That's how crazy they are, right? They have a mental issue, of course. And I mean, obviously I feel sorry for them. They, of course, struggle in life because they think that everything is real. They can't distinguish between like TV shows and reality. Like I said, this woman here, hating on Gunter in real life, she thinks that Friends is real, right? And she watches any other TV show, How I Met Your Mother, whatever, right? She thinks those characters are real as well. So of course, if you have this mental issue that you can't understand this between fiction and reality, right? You obviously will think that every fiction is reality. So these people are mostly locked up, right? Because they can't function. Again, I mean, it's sad, right? But they can't function in our society, right? Because they think that everything they play or watch or whatever on TV is real. So of course they go cray, right? I mean, understandably, if you watched animes and thought that every anime was real, you watch Dragon Ball and you're like, oh my god, Vegeta is gonna explode the planet and Frieza. Yeah, you would have issues, right? You would believe that that the planet is destroyed every week, basically, if you thought anime was real, And honestly, not talk too much about these people, but the truth is that, yes, they think that anime is real and so on. And I think it's all real. You know what I mean? They did every anime is real. Not just one anime. They did every anime is real. Man. The mixture. Anyway, so those people do exist from a Steve standpoint, that is true, and they actually do get affected by watching anime. That is true. However, again, they are less than 1%. They're like 1 in 1,000, 1 in a million. Very, very few people. It's like one person in total that has read or seen this anime that actually think it's real, right? And again, real emphasis here. Thinking it's real doesn't necessarily mean you become violent. It's just real. Thinking it's actually is real, right? So it's a weird thing. That being said, there has been research showing that about like, I think it's like 0.017%. I think my math might be wrong here, but I believe the APA, American Psychology Association, in video games, forward this number that like 0.0117% of people actually do have a slight aggressive increase of playing violent video games. However, they don't become violent. This is a very important thing. The effect is incredibly low, okay? And the only thing they could see is that by measuring people's brain waves, by measuring people's brain waves, what they saw was that if they play very, very, violent games, or let's put that, or watching violent movies or anime, anything very, very violent, right? They would have a slight increase in one of their, brain patterns. You have a little bit of a peak there if it's very, very violent, but no evidence whatsoever makes these people are violent afterwards. Usually their brains are slightly affected by it, slightly more like aggressive tendencies while it's currently happening, but as soon as it's turned off, they haven't changed their personality. So basically, very few people, like 1 in 2,500 have a very, very slight aggressive increase, temporary, like what is happening. And when I say increase, I mean like maybe they get like 5% more aggressive, like incredibly low. And then it's like 1 in a million people that can't understand reality at all. And these are basically the people that actually would be affected then by this anime being banned. But anyway, let's talk about the actual, I guess, news then. But I want to solve that thing. I don't know, guys. Leave a comment below. What do you guys think? I mean, personally, I love talking about this stuff, right? I want to do more videos talking about this stuff. Obviously, I started doing more and more videos. Like last talking about how Monster is suing, Nintendo and so on, right? And I feel that a lot of people, right, are gonna make videos about this or topic again speaking. But I want to come from my angle of being, okay, what actually is the scientific thing here, right? Topics like that. But let's talk about the actual news there. But I don't know, I'm honestly, what do you guys think? Because I felt that I should start maybe talking about the science and now talking about the actual news. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's stupid. Maybe I should go all the way around. But I felt that I really want to have it at that point. Okay, so you can find a couple of different articles about this thing, right? I read about it today, this morning. But this is 2 days ago, so yeah, it's been out on several news channels now the last 1 day. Maybe I'm late in this thing, but whatever, right? Basically, Assassination Classroom then, the anime, right, and the manga and so on, are being banned in different schools, right, and different states of America. You can see kind of how it keeps increasing, right? Like it's banned here, banned in the next state, and they will probably keep banning it, especially in like Republican states, right? So the problem, of course, with America isn't necessarily even the guns, I think, if I gotta go into this topic. But I'll say it briefly. I think the issue with America is more it's really unhealthy mental health right there. It's more a mental health issue. It isn't just the biggest issue isn't that the access to guns, actually. I think it's also a scapegoat that the left does as well, right? The right's gonna say that, oh, this thing, the left's gonna say the guns. But the truth is probably more purely is the mental health, because, for example, right, the classic that games makes you violent has been debunked so many times, but especially because Japan, right, of course they play so much gaming in Japan, also they play, and also, Assassination Classroom is a Japanese manga and anime, right, yet we don't see any schools, these issues in Japan, right, even though this anime and manga is much more popular in Japan than in America. So clearly, logically, it makes no sense that this manga and anime would be the issue, right, of the shooting. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. But also, generally speaking, then gaming and so on, it's bigger in Japan, right? So, but if you gave everyone in Japan a gun, they would still not really shoot that much people, right? Because generally speaking, Japan, and this is one reason why I love Japan, is because it's a very lawful culture. You know what I mean? America, true fetish, right? Unhealthy mental issues, but also America is an extroverted kind of cray, do whatever you want culture. I mean, I love America too, right? Because the greatness of liberty in America is that we can do whatever you want, right? You can invent whatever you want and so on. You can dress up as a Bowsette character, you know what I mean? I loved it in America as well. But of course it costs a lot more, that's it, dissonance and chaos, right? Where in Japan, it's very ordersome, very coherent, very like society, so to speak. Doesn't have much crime, right? So this goes order effect as well. But basically, the issue here, right, as I say here, is that they're blaming this anime and manga, right, for the shootings, which honestly is laughable. It's a very horrible, of course, people get the actual issues that happens here. But to blame an anime for it, right, it's absurd. And especially this anime, and I think this issue here kind of comes back to a little bit what we saw GTA, right, Grand Theft Auto, when that was getting banned. For example, many years ago, it was 10 games banned in Thailand. And I remember that it was kind of comedic. I think I was in grad school back then. We looked at this thing. Because basically what happened was that they banned 10 games, right? Because they were blaming video games for increasing in crime in like Bangkok or whatever. And the thing was that the 10 games banned were just like basically the first thing you found on Google. So if you Googled like, you know, violent games, top 10 or whatever, right? And you got like a YouTube video, here's the top 10 most violent games, Postal, GTA, so on. Those were literally the games that were banned. So it was straight up like the first hit on a Google search, a video on a list or whatever, right? That was what they had banned. So you can kind of tell you that, oh yeah, these people have never actually played the games, right? And I think that's kind of interesting with this anime as well. Obviously the name itself, it's a classroom, it sounds like it'd be a classroom and so on. But actually, I've seen the anime, of course. The anime is about this alien what destroyed the planet, right? And then these kids are fighting this crazy alien with like weird schemes, right? It has nothing to do with, you know, going into a school. There's actually, not to be that guy, please not America, but there's a lot of other animes, right? They're actually much more, so to speak, school violent, right? There's so many other animes. I don't know, prison school, not from a violent, but a sexual standpoint, you know. There are a bunch of other animes where it actually feels much more realistic, it's more fitting into if people actually would be affected, you know, by animes and mangas to do crime. This anime, this classroom, has nothing to do with this typical crime. They have bitch and say and so on. But I think it's come back to the thing here, right? But it's kind of fun when you read, honestly, because we should all be able to agree that violence toward teachers. But this teacher is an alien. It's, you know, they have never read the anime or watched the anime and manga. And it's so common, right? It's so common. Yeah, come on. These people they've never even seen the anime. No. This anime, it's like sorry, I was screaming. This anime makes people want to defeat their alien yellow teacher. It's basically real. Especially, it really reminds me of that GTA ban where they have just banned all the games or all the animes with a title, you know, that sounds bad. So soon you're gonna ban what, like DX. The next animated ban is like DxD, right? As I jokingly said at the beginning of the video, right? I really do feel like this could be the next anime getting banned, right? It's both very etchy, for that matter. Just like, remember Ilulu? Remember? But, seriously saying, right? It definitely feels like when they ban this stuff, it is completely based on the name alone. It's like a person that has read like one page or something, and we see it all the time, right? I may read about it in the past, and we see it over and over again, how stuff gets banned or censored or whatever, and it's always based on people that have never seen it, right? I remember, I made a video about this, could it be 3 years ago, when Australia was banning some stuff, right? Because Australia has some really weird laws, and Australia has banned, you know, flat-chested actors, right? This is very, very crazy, but there's an actual law in Australia. They banned, you know, adult stuff, so to speak, right? Performed by women, and I'm not talking about grown-up, I'm talking about like 40-year-old women here, 40-year-old, 50-year-old women, you know, MILFs, if they have flat chest. Like literally, I'm not joking, they literally did that, because that could be seen as, obviously then, but it's ridiculous, right? So, like, what, they have like a measurement on the actor's size? I'm not even kidding, it's a real law in Australia, it used to be at least, very, very weird. And they also started banning, or tried to ban at least, a bunch of different animes, right? And again, what I'm coming to with my last point here is that it's always this issue, right, where you feel like, but why don't ban these other animes? I mean, not to be that guy, but you kind of want to be like, I mean, you know, like, why does he want to ban this anime for? I think he wanted to ban like Goblin Slayer, right? And I'm like, yeah, Goblin Slayer has some etchy scenes in it, but why isn't he banning Berserk for? You know what I mean? You always, yeah, it's always that feeling, like, why are you banning, I don't know, Naruto, because Naruto has no clothing, you know, in Sexjutsu. Why are you not banning, I don't know, these other animes? It's very, very common, right? With these lawmakers, these old people, honestly, right? They've never seen anime, right? They've never seen manga. They're like, this is the most popular thing right now. Let's ban that, yeah. Or I guess in this case, then use the title alone. Oh, it's called Classroom. Ban it. Right? This is basically it's like title alone ban. Yeah, it's like what the title class is in it. Let's ban it, right? What more anime has? Yeah, leave a comment below. What more anime has the title of Classroom in it? Because it feels like they literally could. You started banning every manga and anime. It's based on the title, so it's like Classroom. Maybe every anime with like a police title in it, Fire Force. Yeah, fireman. Everything with the government. Yeah, hospital animes. Different doctor animes. Yeah. End of the day, though, what is so weird to me in a general sense is that it is a cultural thing, right? Because they don't like anime, manga, and so on, very commonly, these politicians. Because why are they not banning so many TV shows, so many movies, etc., that they themselves produce? I mean, in America, that are actually more strictly, directly into this topic, right? Because again, this anime, Assassination Classroom, is about an alien fighting some weird kids, with weird tech stuff, yeah, and weird powers. It's not really like anything even close to a normal school or whatever. But you can find a bunch of movies, right, and TV shows where they actually have, like a realistic, showing or so on. I'll go in details here, but you get my point. So it's never really made any sense, right? But I think it's always right. I think it's easy for lawmakers in the West, so to speak, right, to be like, ban this Japanese stuff, blame the other countries, yeah, blame outside of our country, and then most people that are voters are like, Japanese, yeah, those weeps, yeah, just ban it. It's probably their fault. It's easy to be very dismissive, right? And of course, as I mentioned earlier, their own internal culture is the worst, right? But anyway, what do you guys think? Is School DxD gonna be banned next? What do you think? Subscribe, have a great day.